All right, so this is a video for a Latin rumba walk and most common mistakes that we see with students dancing, especially learning it in the beginning. So a couple of things to begin with. You want to make sure that your feet are always turned out. You want to make sure that you are standing vertical to begin with, never ever back weighted over your heels. And if possible, adding a little more pressure towards the bow of the foot, which is basically what's going to kind of bring you more forward poise. So as you can see, I'm not necessarily just vertical, definitely not back weighted, a little more forward poised. In order for you to sustain the forward poise, you have to make sure that your center is well elevated. Now, as a dancers, we want to make sure that we elevate through the center and the sternum. We do not squeeze. So for example, if we were to look at a different sport, let's just say bodybuilders, there's a very different type of muscle groups that they need, and there's very different usage of those muscle groups. So for example, if you were to simply lift weight, you would squeeze, which is one of the worst things that we as a dancers can do. So what we do is we actually elevate. With that being said, we want to make sure that we keep everything aligned, no distortions of any kind. From here on, what we're going to do is I'm actually going to start with my left foot in this case, behind me. I'm going to brush my feet, and then from here I will elongate prior to stepping. Now, a very common mistake, as I mentioned, that's kind of the big thing in this video, is when dancers elongate, they forget that they actually have to get on that foot. So basically standing behind the foot and keep on kind of pointing and just standing behind the foot. You can see that that immediately brings me to a back weighted position, which is of course incorrect, and from a different angle. So you want to make sure that you're standing forward poised, well lifted. In all fairness, at least in the beginning, even standing vertical, not even commencing forward, should do the job. From here, make sure you brush your heels, you brush your feet, you close your inner thighs, you point the foot, you keep on pointing. From here, start moving your center over the foot. Now, until you get fully on the foot, and of course, how do we check if we're on the foot? We elevate the other one a little bit. That means you're not on the foot. So if you're half weight, right, half weighted, and if you commence the next step, that immediately going to push you back, which obviously is counterproductive. So different angle, moving forward. I'm going to do maybe 4 or 5 steps. So when moving forward, this is the way it is going to look. Good, and then from a different angle again. The mentality of yours should be that you are striving to get on the foot. Sometimes I use the word attacking or more assertive. You gotta get on the foot. Rumba music is very lyrical for the most part, and students of dance often mistaken that with having to dance either slow, either you have to make sure that you're using the strong beat of the music, which is when the feet actually have to interact with the floor. Connect with the floor, push with the floor, make sure you have enough compression, stand straight. So, head position. If you're looking down at any given moment, it's going to immediately affect the way you're moving. So making sure that you have the proper posture and then a movement. Now the question comes, how can we do all of this? Well, you obviously have to build the blocks of muscle memory. With that being said, in the very beginning, you may have to prioritize. Personally, if it was up to me, if it was my choice, I would most likely prioritize posture to begin with. To me, everything, even visually, if you were to compete or do a showcase event or whatever, the first and most important thing that people see is it's just the visual picture of posture. So basically, you look at two people, or sometimes obviously we separate, we get to open positions. and you're looking at the people the way they're standing before even, you know, looking at the feet and so forth. So make sure the posture is just nice and vertical, very much so elongated as long as possible, and then a movement. Now, if that gets to where it should be, you can obviously go ahead and start adding feet. When you're adding feet, it is important to point, don't get me wrong, but if you point and if you're standing behind the foot, that's not going to work. So with that being said, I will keep my feet turned out. That will be kind of the second thing. You want to make sure that you're brushing between steps, because otherwise, instead of moving in a straight line, you're going to start moving almost zigzag, so to speak. And then from there, you can build on everything else that we have discussed in this video.